I typically don't. Like, I'll go, all right, I'll take a look at the schedule. When it's released, I'll take a look at it, and I'll look at the schedule. I don't get as excited as a lot of people.
You got to understand, for me, though, it's like that's my life in front of me. Like, that's my schedule.
That's true.
Like, that's going to greatly impact how my winter goes, basically.
Yeah, for me, for you working, and for those that don't know, Pat works does broadcasts for the Buccaneers during the pre and post during the season, so absolutely impacts your schedule. For me, I don't really build vacations around. I don't take vacations now during football season for the most part, so it doesn't impact me really whatsoever. But, and I can't believe I got sucked into all this of all people, the creativity from some of these teams and how they release the schedules, it's very impressive.
It's become a whole production.
Yeah, and it's a business. NFL is the off-season business of the NFL. I've come to agree with you, Pat, is very entertaining. I agree with you to an extent, I should say.
Right.
It's the most money-making business the entire year. As far as so it's random May, middle of May, right? Smack dab, and then we're not even in summer yet. Mm-hmm. We're not even close to really getting into the meat of it for the NFL. And they just have a day where they have the NFL schedule release, and all these teams have these incredible moments from their videos that they get all this reaction and this interaction on social media. I wonder, Pat, if there is and I'm sure people do know about this, I just haven't done my research on it, as far as the NFL coordinating with the team saying, hey, let's pump it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because there used to be like one or two teams that did really creative stuff, and everyone else would just throw the schedule together and go, here it is. And then I think people got jealous. I think it was like a jealousy thing.
Right.
Like, oh, they're doing cool stuff. I want to do cool stuff.
That's not a memo from the NFL being like, hey, everyone step up your game.
It could be, but I doubt it. But I love what the Buccaneers did this year, because I thought to myself, like, it's weird that I don't know who this person is in the photo. And if you missed it, 2 days ago, the Bucs put out a photo that said just tomorrow at the top. And it has Cody Mauch, our friend Keeft, and a guy taking his shirt off in the middle of the photo. And I was like, I just assumed it was another Buccaneers offensive lineman or somebody on the team when I saw this photo. And I was like, well, you can't even see who that is. It's kind of weird. And then I realized yesterday when they put out their schedule release video exactly why that was, because they were hiding the fact that it was Bert Kreischer. And, probably shouldn't have my audio on. And it's hilarious because in the beginning of the video, it's Baker Mayfield, and he gets on like a walkie-talkie, and he calls out to somebody. It ends up being Bert Kreischer. And so it's basically a Baywatch-themed thing with Bert Kreischer, Cody Mauch, and Keeft. And it's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you got to go to their social media somewhere and watch it.
Here's our boy Bert. Take a listen.
Come in, Tampa Bay Watch. Come in, Tampa Bay Watch. Do you copy?
This is Bert. Go for Tampa Bay Watch. Over.
Been hearing there's some tourists causing trouble down in the bay. Need you to take care of it.
Aye, aye, Captain. Me and the boys are on it.
The boys are on it. And then the schedule release as they went on.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you, Sam. I love Bert. I did see some people commenting that they have what they're calling Bert fatigue.
Oh, how do you not celebrate a man from Tampa Bay who has become such a success and is hilarious? I know you guys maybe don't think he's as hilarious as I do. I think he's hilarious.
I think Bert's funny, but when I think like funny comedian stand-up, his stand-up is not like my favorite type of stand-up.
Why? Because he's got one joke?
That's not true. That is not
I haven't
true.
heard enough of his latest stuff to know where he's jumping in.
Lucky you.
Because you clearly haven't taken the time to watch it.
I have watched his last. He's got 3 or 4 Netflix specials. The last 2 of them I haven't even chuckled.
He crushes. I mean, like as far as the content, but I'm getting the specials and the money's probably rolling in for Bert.
Maybe you got to be like a middle-aged person to understand the jokes, because it's a lot about like his family and stuff. But I don't know. I think he's funny.
There's some like his podcast. He has funny moments and funny delivery. But as far as I can understand. Now, for a schedule release, there's nobody better than Burt. Burt's perfect for that. Like, I can understand there's Titus O'Neil fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're everywhere. So I can understand if someone's like, hey, can we get... But they're highlighting Tampa.
Well, I hope you don't have Titus O'Neil's fatigue because the sneaker soiree is right around the corner.
I think Titus even jokes, like he makes jokes about it, that he's everywhere. He's Titus. But I think we're lucky enough to have that in the area where we have celebrities and people that are on the national stage that are repping Tampa. So some might call it fatigue. I look at it as, hey, we're lucky to have those people here and repping Tampa.
I'm proud. So we'll get into the Buccaneers' schedule. They will start on the road in Cincinnati in Week 1. And I saw Rick Stroud actually said, like, this is a good test for this rebuilt defense right off the bat against, we never know what the Bengals are going to be, but we know if Joe Burrow is healthy, that offense is explosive. So for the rebuilt defense, absolutely right out of the gate, a really good test.
And if we're going to take on Cincinnati in Cincinnati, I'd rather do it in early September than November or December.
Well, that's a good point, right?
Notoriously bad to kick off their seasons the last 4 years.
That's true. That's another good one. A lot of good points on the Pat and Aaron show.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make one soon. The Cleveland Browns come to town in Week 2 with Myles Garrett. And that should be, I saw somebody texted in, Myles Garrett versus Tristan Wirfs. That will be a fun matchup to watch without question.
Shador Sanders will hit up Raymond James Stadium before Shiloh Sanders got to do it in a regular season game.
Will he be the starter? No, I'm sure he will. So that's Week 2. The Bucs, by the way, after going to Cincinnati in Week 1, 3 consecutive home games. Also to note, they don't play their first game in the NFC South, and I think this is a good thing. They don't play their first game in the NFC South until Week 7 against the Carolina Panthers. So after Cleveland in Week 2, I said 3 home games in a row. You've got the Minnesota.
Oh, and you mentioned 3 home games in a row. They don't have back-to-back road games all season long.
Which is great.
Awesome.
Right? That's really good. Cleveland in Week 2, as we said. Minnesota in Week 3. And the Green Bay Packers in Week 4 before they head on the road to the Dallas Cowboys. And then they're back home again. As Aaron just noted, they won't be on the road back-to-back weeks. Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Steelers, not on Christmas Day. They will play in Week 6.
Maybe your last chance to see Aaron Rodgers.
That's right. Your first divisional game against the Carolina Panthers in Week 7.
By the way, love that. I love that I don't want the divisional games early in the season. We know notoriously that with players not playing as much in the preseason, that sometimes it takes a couple games. Sam just noted Cincinnati has gotten off to slow starts. I want those division games. I want the Bucs playing their best football, and I think around the middle of the season is where they would be.
It's when we see our sloppiest football, and it is, we'll talk about it later on the show, kind of crazy to have the most important games or some of the most important games early in the season like that, and some teams do. I think the Giants and Cowboys start in Week 1, as they seem to always do against each other. After Carolina on the road, the Bucs have the Atlanta Falcons at home. Then they're at Chicago before their Week 10 bye week. Speaking of things we love, a Week 10 bye week is very, very good. And then at Detroit, home against Carolina, home against the Los Angeles Chargers, at Baltimore. That's a tough stretch right there, by the way.
I want to note, and I was talking with Nick Wise about this yesterday, and he was one that alerted me to this, and I think it's a really interesting point. Buccaneers go to Detroit to face the Lions. Very tough place to win a football game. You noted the Bucs are coming off the bye. Detroit's coming off of Munich. Detroit's coming back from Munich, not getting a bye week, taking on the Bucs off a bye week.
That's a good chance to try to take advantage of that. That's a great point.
A lot of things in the favor of the Bucs when you're going to a tough place like Detroit.
And then again, home against Carolina, home against L.A. Chargers, on the road at Baltimore, back home against the New Orleans Saints, and then your last 3 at Atlanta against the Rams at home, and then at New Orleans. So tough stretch to finish the season. And by the way, those last 3 games are all to be determined in the last 3 weeks. We won't know when those games are until later in the season. But that last stretch is really tough. If you think about coming out of the bye week, that entire stretch is going to be a tough stretch. And you've got some big divisional games late. So you better get off to a good start this season if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Did you say Baltimore? The 13th. 13th against Baltimore. Okay, and then the 20th. All right. All right, I'm getting there. On the road.
Did you think they didn't have Baltimore?
No,
or-
that's the closest, because as a road game, that's the coldest I think that they're going to get.
Yeah.
Chicago
listen,
might get
not
cold.
a cold stretch, but definitely a tough stretch down the stretch.
Yeah, I think that is one of their toughest stretches. I think the Minnesota, Green Bay, Dallas is a sneaky tough stretch.
Could be.
Short
I also
week against
wouldn't be
Dallas.
shocked if Dallas or Minnesota stunk.
But the two cold weather games I'm looking at potentially, definitely that Baltimore game on the road,
At Chicago.
and then at Chicago in early November.
In November, at night in Chicago, probably 6 degrees, even if it's early in November.
Early November, you think so?
No, I'm exaggerating.
Sam, you
I'm
lived out there.
absolutely exaggerating.
Sam, what's it like early November out there?
Probably not nice.
It's hit or miss. It could be as nice as like 55, which is beautiful, but it could also be 5. Maybe not 5, but like 15.
Not good.
Like there were certain mornings I definitely walked outside and was like, good Lord.